The different generation. Last Friday, February 3rd, 2020, while at work at night shift, I got a text from a stranger telling me that they saw my wife out in the middle of the night 2 times in this past week. One with her sister and a guy, and the second with the guy alone, and seemed to have something between them, and that I'd want to watch her actions more carefully. We are living with her younger brother, so as soon as I got home from work, I immediately asked him if he knew about my wife leaving at almost midnight and returning past 3 a.m., to which he confirmed. I confronted my wife about this, to which she admitted. She said they were only friends and it was nothing, etc. This is my 3rd time catching her with someone that she said was her friend. Once was in our previous apartment. The guy was hiding in the other room with her sister when I came in and was afraid to come out. My wife said that it was her sister's boyfriend and only visiting her, so I passed it as nothing to do with her. Second was when I had this gut feeling when I called her while at work that something was wrong when she said she was out at a certain time one night, so I went out the office early. I came to our home to find out she was not there. Then I saw her getting dropped off by someone. I got so mad I laid hand on her, and when I asked who that is, he said it was a friend who will be married in a month and who just wanted to be reunited with his friends for the last time. I demanded she show me where this guy lived, but she won't. She said she was sorry she didn't tell me about that. 3 years passed, and now with our second, almost 2-year-old, child, and this recent incident happened. I was really mad and hurt, so I decided that instead of physically hurting her, I went and stayed at her sister's, the one who lived with us in our previous apartments, house in a nearby city. As I confided to her sister during my stay about what happened, her sister thought my wife told me everything and slipped into saying about the past that she's been physical relationships with men in our own previous apartments, in our own bed. Also, her other sister and her husband, who also lived with us in our previous apartment, knew this. Old friends will go to our apartment and they will get drunk and bonding will happen. Drunk or not, her sister said my wife allowed her old friends to sleep in our bedroom. This included her old friends and previous suitors, who she just bumped again into and who have been friending her through text. When she was drunk, she never drinks in front of me, even new friends get to do it to her. I was told this went on for months. I was devastated. The timid, shy, loving girl I knew for 7 years of marriage was gone. My wife also called her sister when I was there, because she didn't know I was there, and said to her sister, her current leaving the house happened because I was always busy and never had enough time for her, and she became bored. She felt I didn't care for her. I don't know here anymore and more, to which I can somehow agree. Learning this, after 2 days I went back home. I confronted her about this and she denied everything. She said those were only her friends and nothing physical happened. I told her not to deny because it was her sisters who told me about everything. She said her sisters don't know anything and are adding their own stories. After almost 2 days of urging her to come clean if she wants our relationship back, she started admitting, but not to all of those men her sister mentioned. I felt she's still hiding information. I said we should just be friends and could now do anything we want. I pretended to be not hurt by everything. I asked her casually and said that it's all in the past, so there's no reason to hide anything now. I won't be hurt, and we're only talking as friends. And with her believing that coming clean will be the first step to returning to our previous state in our relationship, one by one she admitted those things. I casually smile with her when she starts slipping to my questions, asking what happened the first 4 years of our marriage. My face was smiling. My heart was getting stabbed again and again, story after story, detail after every detail. Sometimes she goes to another relationship immediately after another. She's been with 5 guys, mostly related to each other, mostly friends with each other, mostly on the same part of the city as the other. She did it with the guy who's going to get married. She's doing it with the one she made me believe before was her sister's boyfriend. Sometimes, she said when drunk, she wakes up with 2 guys beside her, not sure what happened. Never in my mid did I think that my loving wife would do such things. I expected highly of her. This was all on the first 4 years of our marriage. She said she stopped when she got pregnant with our youngest kid 3 years ago and decided to change herself since then. I also said I know our youngest was not mine, although I was just really joking when I said it. She said I believe it's yours. What the heck? Now my son, the boy who supposedly would carry my name, is now not 100% sure mine. Everything I believed for 7 years, broken in 3 days. She told me she can't live with me with the guilt of those sins she did. She told me it's okay that now we're just friends. She said that maybe this way, we'd be truer to each other. She said the only way I could be happy again is if I will try to look for another girl. A girl that maybe would be the one I'd be lifetime together with. Now as I was typing this, she just texted me to please come home. She said if I find out that the girl I had relationships is not the one, I could always return to her. She said I could do what I want. She even jokes about me matching her numbers and then come back. She said she's sorry this all happened. She said if I decided that I'd forgive her, even at that very moment, and I would not rub on her what she did, she'll stop everything. She says then she'll got to the friends she's meeting on the last incident and settle everything. She said she had a real friend there. He was the only real friend she had now. He gives her advice. Good advice. She said he even said that she should not give me up. She will tell those friends she'd stop if I decided I totally forgive her. I said she should be careful with that guy since he's married and they drink when they meet, but she says nothing happens with them, honestly, and the guy loves his family so much. Now that she admitted everything and was now true and honest to me, she will love me again like before, she promised. But better if I try other girls first and lift both her and me from the burden of the sins she did and prove to myself that in the end she will still the one I'd chose, if I still love her. If I decide I want to give time for myself, cool everything down, try relationships with others again, she said she'd go with her friends and try to be happy too because she'd be crazy and lonely thinking about me, seeing the house without me around. She promised that nothing physical will happen again. I love her very much. I can't stand the thought of living my life without her on my side. Living and raising our kids without her. It destroys me. I am in pain. Although I pretend everything's okay when I'm with her since she's now only just my friend. She keeps saying she's sorry and beg for us to start again, with the conditions she said. I'm devastated, help me what to do. My youngest will be 2 this March and the incident when I saw her getting dropped off by someone was May, almost 3 years ago. I think we found out her being pregnant June. March is 9 months. I really love her, that's why this is killing me. Everything just unfolded very fast and I have just found out everything and I'm just very depressed while typing those and my emotions were everywhere. Days have passed and now she seemed genuinely sorry. She's asking me what she needs to do in order to gain my love back. She's promising everything without conditions. She promised she'll be there if I decide to come back. She said she'd prove to me that she can change and love me the way she did before. I said to give ourselves space. I just took my eldest, my daughter, with me to my parents' house so I could still work because I did not report to work yesterday, Tuesday. How can I know if she really wants to change herself? Is there really no hope for this? I have never caught her in the act. Hadn't she admitted these, all of the things she did will still be a secret. But she admitted even though I have no proof of my accusations. Does that not count as something? Also, our kids. I don't want them growing up with a broken family. What if she really changed? My kids are still young. Can we just never bring this up again? Will that be healthy? Comment. Can't you understand that those are the words of a completely immoral woman? Her answer to your pain is what? Turn you into a W like her. You have no idea who your wife really is, but you're finding out. OP responds. I know I'm a total idiot for being so gullible. I hope you understand that I've given blind faith because I have honestly loved my wife. And love makes you do stupid decisions. Most of you say, and I appreciate this, and I too say this to myself, that I deserve someone better. And that although she won't be cheating for the moment, as some of you warned, it would definitely return. What she did was unforgivable by our society's standard. But still, there are comments here that her owning up is a good thing. This somehow gives me a 5% chance that there might still be hope. And just like the lottery, although you know you'd lose, you would still play anyway thinking you'd win. Some stories here caught their wives multiple times but still forgave them only to still be hurt in the end. That means they felt what I'm also feeling right now, that there is still hope. Was there never a happy ending? Are there not 1 or 2 stories of serial cheaters that changed? If there are, what made them change? As I told you already, I am now with the kid that I know is 100% mine. And with that space, I'm contemplating on my next steps. I try to surround myself with positive energy and try to be happy even though the pain is killing me. I hope that some of you understands what I'm going through and not just throw insults, but not having gone through things like this themselves. It's not even 7 days since all this started, so I will still need plenty of time healing so I could make the right move. What did you guys do to help yourselves recover, heal, and move on after you found out about those things? Did you immediately cease from meeting with your wives? There are times when I feel I should save the marriage, then there are times when I feel like I want to make people feel my hurt. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. Now here's the scenario. My wife has since admitted many things. Now, as much as it pains me, and that I still have feelings for her, I have to end our marriage. The problem is this: I talked to her parents about us having to separate and that their daughter will be living with them again. They are also just renting apartment and living through pension and don't have much. And because my in-laws have been nice to me during our marriage, I don't want them and my wife to be scandalized if I just kick her out of the house. We live in close proximity with them. My in-laws requested that I give them until first week of April so they could find a new and bigger place, and the money to rent for them and my wife. My wife is also now for training next week, for she is now going to work. So now, I had to stay in the house for less than 2 months with her. We have to put on a show so that nobody in the neighborhood would notice what's happening, so that when we move out, we won't be the talk of the town. Although we don't fight as much, it still hurt like hell when I feel like she's not being honest with me. I know I should not expect anything from her now that we'd be separating anyway. I still feel that way. I tried the 180, but somehow, what I really feel still come out. She still does what she's supposed to do as the mother of my kids and as wife. She still prepares my clothes, my meal for work, etc. We have the greatest bonding since we were GF without fail every day. But it still feels depressing because I know that this is the end. What do you guys think of our setup? What better else could I have done? I should avoid sleeping with her now, and the days to come before we move out. Also, is there use in knowing the facts of her affairs at this stage? Should I still talk about what's the truth? What's breaking me apart now is my eldest's plea for us to be together again. She doesn't know why suddenly me and Mom are just friends only and asks me why we can't be husband and wife anymore. You know what, guys, for my kid, I'm willing to swallow my pride and stay together. But I can't. I picture the future that even though my wife eventually tries to change, I'd still be haunted by the thoughts of those things I learned which will result in more fighting. I just came to the realization that my wife is indeed damaged from her childhood experiences and her past relationships. She doesn't even know the gravity of the things she did. She only knows that she hurt my feelings and is sorry. She's just like a kid. This brings me to thinking what will happen to her if I just let her go. I can't help but still be concerned. Is that wrong? It's been just 3 weeks since D-Day and my emotions are so unstable. I am hurting, then hating, then I want to save the relationship, then I want to separate, then I miss her, then I hate her again. If only I could make all this go in an instant. I think I'm having trouble accepting the fact that the almost 7 years of our marriage is going down the drain. That the plans I have for the family now will all be trashed. And this love I'm feeling for her now will not be returned. I am so devastated. I have never experienced such pain. It's so hard letting go. Although she did those things, I don't want any harm to come to her. I want to hear that she's settled with someone who really loves her and not just go with random dudes who pretend to care then treat her like a piece of meat. She was the love of my life once anyway. I know she's got issues and I think she needs help very much, and the thought of leaving her like in this state feels wrong. She was very submissive on the first year of our marriage. She easily gets jealous when other women talk to me or I do the same. I didn't listen to her when she talks. God, I think I pushed her to do those things. She easily gives in to my requests, even when we were just courting, and asks me after if this is only bonding, what I want from her, to which I reply no when I was partly lying. And I get cold to her when she doesn't. Up to now, after I learned what she did and want to separate, I still slept with her without fail. Was that all I wanted from her? She may have felt that way all these years. I really have disrespected her by doing that. I never treated her as a person, as a wife. I only get nice when I want action. I go to work, sleep with her in the evening without asking how's her day, then sleep. I've never seen the situation from this angle. All I've seen is what she did and never what I did. The guy, it's been almost a month since D-Day and your threads had somehow shown me things I never saw before. I'm still seeing new things about our relationship as days go by, and that's good. But I don't know what I'd do now. When I'm at our house, I try and pretend that it's over and I've no more feelings for her. Then all of a sudden, bam, I'm needing again. Which brings us back to square one. Update. I've learned that my WW is still meeting with her OM also. I've opened her FB account and found recent email exchanges between her and the father of who I previously thought was our youngest child, son. She's telling the guy that he's the father and the kid looks like him. I've loved the kid though. However, in this situation, I feel like she's taking the kid away from me, too, and I don't know if I should still continue acting as his father. My WW is the one pushing for legal separation. Divorce is not allowed in my country. I left the house and haven't contacted her for almost a week, and I feel like I've just given her more chance to continue the affair. I feel like today's another D-Day with all this new info I confirmed true. I'm feeling so much hate that I want to file an adultery case against her because right now I think I've got enough proof. Do you think that's wise, or should I just let her go? Actually, for me, it doesn't matter if the kid is not mine. I've loved him anyway for 2 years. The problem is that now, she informed the father that the kid is his when she could have just shut up and let me continue treating the kid as mine. I never said I'd abandon the kid, so why tell the supposed father? Although I want to forgive her for all that she did to me, I now feel like I want to file adultery against her because I think that's the only way I could somehow get even. Anybody did that to their WS, or just divorce them. Months later. A quick recap on my story in case you don't want to read my original thread, which is not very readable at all since I wrote it when I just found out about the IA was very edgy. I was married for almost 7 years this May and have 2 kids. A text sent to me last February about my wife going out in the middle of the night. I work night shifts, by an anonymous texter, which turned out to be her sister, led to my confrontation of her, and to cut a long story short, learned that during the first 4 years of our marriage, she had EAS and PAS with at least 6 men. This includes her exes, ex-friends, and new friends. She did the PAS during the times when I went home once a week due to the nature of my job and the distance of it from our home. A significant number of times she did the PAS on our marital bed. It also came to light that our youngest kid is not mine. Rock bottom. Fast forward to now, 2 months later. Wife and I are separated. I just got my daughter from the in-laws, which she had taken care of the kids because she's now working. No way to go but up. It's very hard to look for a job in our country these days, especially the girls when they reach a certain age. My wife is only a HS grad, so this makes her chances slimmer. The work she took. She's now working on a nightclub. Just when you think you couldn't sink any further, you learn this. I'm still having trouble accepting what she did, and that the marriage is over. Now this? Screw this. Anyway, what's really troubling me now is about the younger kid. 2-year-old. She has acknowledged that the child may probably be not mine. Although before, when I told her I'm doubting about the child being mine, she defensively said that I shouldn't have let her continue with the pregnancy. I also found out that she recently friended the father, which was her ex, on Facebook and has been telling him about his son. She was explaining to the guy when their PIA happened and that the kid looks like him. I've loved the kid so much right now and I can't explain in words the hurt that this is causing me. I have no idea what to do. I also don't want to raise the kid along with the thought of my wife's infidelity. Any suggestion will help. Paternity tests cost more than a month's salary of an average person here in our country. Much more is the cost of hiring a PI. If only these are affordable, then I could have easily done this before. I haven't even legally separated from my wife yet because of the cost. And this is very common here. Also, it's not even the problem. I could take both kids if I want. She even allows me to. I think I have learned to love the kid since I have been taking care of him for 2 years. What sucks is that he now reminds me of my wife's unfaithfulness. He looks like the father. I hate feeling that because I know the kid is innocent, but I can't help but trigger. Final update. She can't be with me as a wife anymore. She said she will pack her things and leave. I didn't stop her. I felt numb and betrayed. I couldn't believe the person I loved and trusted for so long was capable of such deception and betrayal. In the following weeks, we filed for divorce and it was a messy process. She tried to fight for custody of our children, but I couldn't bear the thought of her being alone with them, knowing what she was capable. I fought hard and got full custody of both our children. The divorce settlement was equally messy. She wanted everything, including the house, which we had bought together, and our joint savings. I refused to let her have it all, and we ended up selling the house and splitting the money. She took what she could and left, and I never saw her again. Years have passed, and I have moved on with my life. I have found someone new who loves me and my children, and I have not forgiven my ex-wife for what she did. I will never forget the pain and betrayal she caused me. The scars will always be there, a reminder of the nasty divorce ending that I went through because of her actions. Story 2. I'm new here and I'm looking for a bit of advice. My husband and I have been together for a total of 15 years and I love him more than anything. I'd say that, overall, we have a very good, solid relationship. This past January, he got a promotion at his job. You would think that would be a good thing. This position involves traveling all over the country. When he took this position, he was told that he would travel no more than twice per month, and that he would have at least a full week off from traveling in between trips. Well, in April, he was traveling for 3 weeks straight, only getting to come home on the weekends. He did have the first 3 weeks of May off from traveling, which was great, but he's traveling this week, will be home tomorrow night for the weekend, but then he is leaving again on Monday and will be gone for 2 weeks straight. I literally will not see my husband for 2 whole weeks. I'm having a very hard time with that. Another issue that I'm having is that he was supposed to have gotten a raise with this promotion and he was being changed from hourly to salaried. Well, his salary is the exact same amount he made in his old position when he was hourly. Actually, it's even a bit less because he doesn't get overtime anymore, yet he's working a lot more hours now and is having to travel a significant amount and be away from home. He and several other people who also got this promotion have told management that they need raises, but it still hasn't happened. It was supposed to happen almost 6 months ago. He is basically getting screwed. Big time. I feel like his company lied to him and this whole promotion was a total bait and switch. This is a huge, multi-billion-dollar company, so it's not that they can't afford it. When he was first offered this promotion back in January, he talked to me about it. I really wasn't too crazy about the idea of him traveling, but I really do want him to advance his career as much as possible, and we both agreed that this would be financially beneficial to us because he would get a raise, which still hasn't happened, and it could very likely lead to even greater opportunities for him at his company in the future. I wanted to be as supportive as possible, so I agreed that he should take the promotion. I am now starting to feel a bit resentful when he travels all over the country and leaves me at home all alone. I work from home full-time to take care of the house, our pets, run all the errands, and make sure all the bills get paid all by myself. Plus, I am downright lonely when he is away for extended periods of time, like he's about to be these next 2 weeks. It wasn't supposed to be like this at all. I'm also extremely frustrated that he hasn't gotten one single raise yet and it's been 6 months since his promotion. He could be at home and making the exact same amount of money, actually even more with overtime, which he now no longer gets being salaried. Every time I bring up my concerns, my husband gets defensive and we end up arguing. He seems to feel like I'm attacking him whenever I ask him when he's getting his raise and he just won't even hear me out. I know that he loves his job and everything, which is great, but this is getting ridiculous and is becoming really unfair to me when I'm left home alone while he travels all over the country. He's about to leave for New Mexico for 2 whole weeks, which will be the longest we've ever been apart and I'm dreading it. I know that I wouldn't feel this way, at least not nearly as much, if he would just get his raise and was being paid a fair salary for all of this extensive traveling and extra hours he has to work while on the road. He has to work 9 to 10 hours and then go back to his hotel and work even more. I think that is total crap. It would at least be worth it if he was making more money. He is getting screwed so badly, and I feel like he doesn't see it as clearly as I do, and it just causes us to argue whenever I bring it up. We had a pretty big argument on the phone tonight about it. He even said all you care about is money. That's not the case at all. I just want him to get the raise that he was promised 6 months ago. I also think that they need to make it retroactive. The raise was the main reason we both agreed that he would take this position. Am I justified in feeling the way I do? Should I be approaching this differently? I am getting really tired of not even being able to discuss this with him in a calm manner. He just automatically gets so defensive whenever I try to talk about it, and I don't really think he fully understands the effect that all of his traveling has on me and how lonely, resentful, and stressed out I feel when he's away this much. I really don't want to feel this way, but I do. I also can't stand seeing my husband being totally shafted by his employer. He doesn't want to look for a new job. He really loves his job and doesn't want to have to start over someplace new. Plus, his current job does pay better than most other companies in our area, and the benefits are great. I honestly don't want him to leave his job either. I just want his company to keep the promises that they made back in January regarding the raise that would come with this promotion and the frequency of traveling. As of right now, they haven't made good on either of those promises, and it's definitely starting to cause a bit of a strain on our relationship. I could occasionally travel with him if I wanted to, but we would have to pay for me on our own, which can be pretty expensive depending on where he's going. He has a corporate credit card to pay for his airfare, car rental, hotel room, and meals. I also wouldn't want to have to put our 3 dogs in the kennel if I were to travel with him. I have to work as well. We do talk and text a lot while he's away and occasionally video chat via FaceTime when he's in his hotel room. But I still feel really lonely when he travels, and I am still very upset about how his company totally lied to him about the raise and how often he would have to travel. He's been traveling more than what they said he would, and that's just not okay. His boss did tell him a couple of weeks ago that there is a very good chance that he will get another promotion either in June or July, which would be a definite raise. But, like I told him, I'll believe it when I see it. We do talk daily when he's away. We talk on the phone, text, and FaceTime. I just can't help but feel resentful when he's gone for 2 to 3 weeks at a time, leaving me with all the responsibilities of running the house and leaving me all alone. Like I said, he was initially told that he would only travel twice per month at the very most. No more than 1 week at a time, with at least 1 week travel free in between trips, which I would be 100% fine with, but it hasn't been that way at all. It has been much more than that, and being away for 2 weeks straight is just unacceptable to me, especially without a raise. I do constantly let him know that I am very proud of him for how hard he has worked and all of the praises that he has received from many of their clients. I am completely supportive of him in that regard, and I want him to do well and advance his career, and he knows this, but I am definitely not okay with what his company has done, more like hasn't done. They flat out lied and are taking full advantage of him. I'm the type of person who can be brutally honest and have no problem telling him how I feel. I have told him that it's not his fault and that I am not blaming him for anything, but that he does need to stand up for himself and go to the top if he has to. I have never blamed him. I have told him that I know it isn't his fault, and I know he has told them that he needs a raise in order to keep doing this, but he still has not gotten it. I have just been urging him to move up the chain of command, since he obviously isn't getting anywhere with his boss or anyone else he has brought this to. I definitely have told him that he deserves this raise for how hard he is working and how much more work he's been having to do since this promotion. It's just so hard for me to keep my mouth shut when I see with my own eyes just how badly he's being taken advantage of and how unfairly he's being treated. The loneliness is a very hard thing to deal with when he's away, and I'm absolutely dreading these next 2 weeks. I will be totally alone for a total of 13 days while he's in New Mexico. We also have a 12-year-old cat who was just diagnosed with kidney disease and has to have subcutaneous fluids administered every day, which is very difficult, if not near impossible, for one person to do. That's definitely a 2-person job. I do have a friend who can come over and help me sometimes, but she's not always available since she works full-time as well. I just feel overwhelmed with having to do everything myself, plus work full-time on top of it, and at times I do feel resentful. I really don't want to feel all this resentment, but I just can't help how I feel. I don't think he could go back to his old position, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to. If his company would just start keeping the promises they made in the beginning and make good of this situation, everything would be much different. I was extremely supportive of him taking this position in the beginning. Plus, we get to keep all of the travel miles for ourselves with him traveling, which means that we could take a vacation that is almost entirely paid for. Why wouldn't I want that? Also, it is good for every couple to have a bit of time apart every once in a while. My issue is not that I just don't want him traveling, period. What I do have an issue with is the frequency that he is currently traveling, which is significantly more than what he was told it would be when he took this position. Obviously, I like it when my husband is home and I like spending time with him, but I have no issue with him traveling the amount that he was originally told he would, which was no more than twice a month and no more than 1 week at a time with a break in between. I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. However, being gone for 3 weeks in a row is not lining up with their initial promise. He is not getting paid nearly enough for that. The lack of a raise is another major issue here, especially with how many extra hours he is working while on the road, plus all of the time spent traveling. He didn't take this position because he wanted to be away from home. He took it because it was supposed to be financially beneficial for us and would be an opportunity to move up in his company. I do not have issues with him traveling. That is not what this is about. It all has to do with the BS lies that his company has been spoon-feeding him and how they are taking complete and total advantage of him. I won't even get into how on his last trip, which was to Baltimore, his corporate American Express was maxed out because they didn't increase his limit like they were supposed to. He didn't find this out until he arrived in Baltimore, and he had to have coworkers pay for his rental car and hotel room when he called his boss to have his limit increased immediately. It was never done, and she never replied to his emails about it for the rest of the week. He also had to use our own money to pay for his meals, which the company still has not reimbursed him for yet, and it has been an entire month. His credit card limit finally did get taken care of when he got back to the office, but that is just an example of the kind of BS we're dealing with here. My husband and I have been together for 15 years. We have been through worse situations, and we are a very strong couple. We have a very open line of communication with each other. I work full-time and make a very good living. Not that it even matters, but I make more than my husband does. It has been that way for about 10 years now. However, it doesn't matter who makes more. We pay our bills together and our paychecks go to the same bank account. We are a team, a unit. We own our own home and have worked very hard for everything that we have. This is not a situation that is going to tear us apart. We love each other too much to let anything like that happen, and we are 150% committed to each other for the rest of our lives. We have a rock-solid, stable marriage. If a couple never argues, I see that as a major problem. That means there is not an open line of communication between them. Bottom line, this so-called promotion is not anything what we were told it would be. I have already explained that numerous times. I won't rehash all of the details again because it's getting redundant. My husband loves his actual job itself, but he does not want to be on the road this often, and I know that he is very frustrated that it has been 6 months and he still has not gotten his raise. He would much rather just travel 1 to 2 times a month and be home the rest of the time. That is how often he was supposed to be traveling, but it has been significantly more than that. He misses me, he misses our dogs, he misses his own bed, his own shower. The problem with our situation is that there are not any other companies in our area that pay as much as his current company, and the benefits that he has are top-notch. My husband is also 42 years old and doesn't want to quit his job and have to start over someplace else, and I completely agree with him. He is also trying to build up his 401k, which his company matches. So, we both kind of feel stuck right now. We're in between a rock and a hard place. Either he keeps going with his job with the way things are now, or he has to quit and start over with a new company for probably less pay. My comment: I noticed you mentioned promotions and raise a lot in all of your posts. So, my question to you is, if your husband did indeed get the promotions and salary raise, then would you still be complaining? It seems like the whole reason behind your complaints is that your husband didn't get a raise. Is a raise that important to you? Even more important than your husband and his emotional well-being?